to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my postpartum must-haves and essentials. I gave birth to my baby girl in December of 2016. She's about 3.5 months old right now, and I thought it would be great to share with all of you what really helped me through that postpartum period, what helped me stay positive, what helped me not be in pain, some things that helped make life easier after I gave birth to her. This is all about the moms. I've already done a video over my newborn essentials and must-haves, and so I felt like I needed to do something for the moms as well. So just so you all are aware, I gave birth to my baby girl 2 weeks early. I gave birth through a normal vaginal delivery. I did have an episiotomy. It was a very easy birth. I had a very easy pregnancy. I was very lucky to have a very easy recovery. However, of course, I just gave birth. I was in some pain, so I will show you all those things that I used to relieve some of that pain. But anyways, let's get started. So if you guys have been following my channel, you all know that I did breastfeed for the first couple weeks that Scarlett was born. However, it was not working for us, so I did decide to switch over to formula. But anyways, when I was breastfeeding, I do have some items that I really was enjoying that was helping to make breastfeeding a little bit easier for me. Because let me tell you, some women, breastfeeding, it seems so easy, it comes so natural, and to me, it didn't work. I felt like I did everything possible to prepare myself for breastfeeding my baby. I read so many books. I listened to so many other women who were breastfeeding their babies and listened to the advice that they had to share. But at the end of the day, it wasn't working for me and it wasn't working for my baby. I was in a lot of pain. My nipples were very sore, and just a forewarning you guys, this is probably going to be a TMI video, so if you are worried about hearing too much information in regards to the wonders of birth, you might not want to keep watching, because I'm going to be as honest with you guys as possible. But anyways, my nipples were sore, they were cracked, they were bleeding, I was in so much pain. Every time I would feed her, I would be in tears, I would have extreme anxiety when her feeding time came about. It was just, it was hard. Breastfeeding was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I didn't really have a ton of support for breastfeeding, but I also really didn't reach out either. None of my family members, except for my sister, had breastfed their babies, and she lives on the other side of the United States, so I had a limited amount of support I could get from her. But it was hard. It wasn't anything like I thought it was going to be. I was a little bummed that I wasn't going to be able to breastfeed my baby. I felt a little down. I was so determined to push through and make it work. It's natural, it's something that we're, as a woman, we are made to do for our babies. And, I'm not gonna lie, I felt at times like I was failing at that. So that was hard. But then feelings all quickly went away as soon as I started formula feeding my baby, and she seemed so much happier. I was happier, I wasn't in pain, so things were just going in a much better direction. My baby had lost a lot of weight. She didn't return to her birth weight until after we started formula feeding, so it took a little over a month for her to get back to her birth weight. What I had found out after I started pumping, because originally I was going to supplement with formula and then also feed her breast milk, but I started pumping and I just wasn't producing. That's when I made the decision just to strictly formula feed and not necessarily to give up breastfeeding, but to do what was right for us. But anyways, when I was breastfeeding, these are some things that really helped me out. The very first thing is this little guy right here. This is a Medela nipple shield. When I was in a lot of pain, these things helped a lot. It helped relieve some of the pressure off my nipples from her mouth. These do come in different sizes. I don't know which one this is, but you get what would work best for you. I was given one of these at the hospital, but I did go ahead and purchase another one. So this part pops out, you put that on the nipple and then squeeze it in, and it suctions your nipple through, and then you're able to breastfeed through these little holes, and it relieves some of the pain, and it also helps with any women who have more of an inverted nipple or a flat nipple. So yeah, so these things were a lifesaver to me when I was breastfeeding. Another lifesaver to me for breastfeeding to relieve some of the pain that I was experiencing was this HPA lanolin cream by Lancino. This stuff was absolutely amazing. This helped relieve any cracked nipples or pain I was having pretty immediately. So I would put this on every single time I would breastfeed and any times in between whenever I started feeling a little dry and cracked, and this helped relieve a lot of the pain. I will let you guys know this will stain your clothes. I stained a lot of clothes using this. It's kind of oily, so it'll leave oil marks on your shirt, so be careful if you're putting this on and you're not wearing something to protect you. So that brings me to my next item. These are the Medela disposable nursing pads. Anyways, they have stickies on the back, they go in your bra, and they help with any leakage. So I fortunately did not have to use these too much because I was not producing any milk. But in the very beginning when I was leaking a little bit, and also when I decided to stop breastfeeding and I was very engorged, these are what helped anything that was leaking. Okay, and then also this is a nursing tank, and I also have a nursing bra. And the reason I am saying that you're gonna want one of these is because this makes your life so much easier. Anything that makes things a little bit easier is definitely something that I would recommend. So all this does is it just snaps right there, and your shirt comes down, and then you're able to breastfeed. I would wear these every single day. This made nighttime feeding so much easier. I wouldn't have to worry about wearing a bra and a tank top because this has enough support for me. So these were very convenient, and I didn't mind spending a little extra money on having some of these. And these are from Motherhood Maternity. So yeah, I would definitely recommend these. However, I would not go out and buy a ton of these like I did. I bought 2 nursing bras, 4 nursing tanks, and a few other nursing items because I just assumed that I was going to be breastfeeding because that's, that I didn't know anything else. That's what I was going to do, and my mind was set to it. But it didn't work out for me, and I had all of these nursing clothes that I no longer need. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to recommend is some kind of band to put around your belly. This was like $10 off of Amazon. This is nothing special. As you can see, it's just this long piece of stretchy, thick fabric, and I wore this around my belly for probably at least the first week and a half. It made me feel better, it helped suck everything in, and I think it helped keep my stomach flat. One thing I regret not buying is the belly bandit. I've heard so many positive things about that. However, they're so expensive, and I just wanted something simple to see if it would work, and guys, this worked just fine. So any kind of exercise band or something you can just wear around your stomach to hold everything in, keep everything tight, is going to help. At least it did for me. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna recommend is a robe. This is just a plain, lightweight robe. I wore robes so much when I first had my baby. They were super easy just to throw on over my tank top. I did have my baby in December, so it was a little cold here in Arizona, so this helped keep me warm, but it was also easy just to take off if I needed to breastfeed her. And when you're breastfeeding, you're going to be extremely thirsty. So what I'm gonna recommend next is Essential. This is a giant Bubba cup. This thing keeps my drink nice and cold. I can take it with me. It has a straw, it has a lid. Any kind of insulated cup, a Yeti would be awesome. Something like that that's just going to keep your water cold, and that's giant because you're going to be so thirsty and you don't want a small water bottle that you're gonna have to fill up all the time. But anything that's giant and big and insulated is something I'm definitely gonna recommend. Okay, so next I'm going to talk to you guys about some essentials that you're going to need for all of down there. When you're in the hospital will give you some products to use to relieve some of your discomfort. At least my hospital did, and some of the things that my hospital gave me are these little pads right here. They're the same thing as Tux pads. So I would recommend stocking up on some Tux pads because those are gonna help relieve any extra pain if you get a hemorrhoid, anything like that. So what I would do with these is I would just stick these on top of my pads after I use the restroom, and these would help relieve so much pain. I would definitely say these are a must-have for any moms who are about to be postpartum. Something else that I would recommend is this Witch Hazel. This is just the Up and Up brand by Target. This witch hazel will gently cleanse your skin and condition it. It'll also help soothe and relieve any discomfort that you're having. And what I would do with this witch hazel, this thing right here, this is a squirt bottle. I got this from the hospital. The hospital gave this to me. You can buy something like this off of Amazon Prime or just at your local drugstore. But anyways, I would fill half of this with water and half with witch hazel, and this would be my solution, and this is what I would use to clean myself after I use the restroom. So after you have a baby, you're definitely going to want one of this, and if you want some extra relief, definitely buy some of this as well. When you have your baby, you are not going to be able to use any kind of toilet paper or wet cloths or anything like that to clean yourself, because a lot of times there are tearing, there's a lot of irritation down there, so they recommend you to use something like this to help clean yourself. So the next thing I'm going to show you is my absolute favorite product that I used when I had my baby. This is the Dermoplast Pain Relieving Spray, and this thing saved my life. So what you do is you just need to spray some of this all over that area, and it seriously relieves your pain immediately. I went through about a bottle and a half. There's about half left in here, so I went through a bottle and a half of this. The hospital did give me one of these, and I used that all up, so I would definitely recommend at least 2 bottles of this. And keep in mind, this comes in a red bottle too. You definitely want the blue bottle. The red bottle will sting. The blue bottle does not, so go blue. Okay, so the obvious that you're gonna need are pads. What I recommend is to get different sizes of pads. This first one, these are what I got from the hospital, and they're massive. That's literally how big it is. But this is what you're gonna want, honestly, especially for those first few days after you give birth. So get the biggest, most absorbent ones you can possibly find, because you will need those and they will make life so much easier. You're going to be messy, you're going to bleed, you just had a baby. So definitely make sure you're protecting your clothing, your undergarments, all of that kind of stuff, and don't be afraid to get the biggest pad that's out there, because you won't regret it. I bought some other sizes too. This is like a size down from that giant pink one, and then these are a little bit thinner, and this is like the thinnest one too. Something important to remember: when you have your baby, your flow is not going to be the same as it was back when you had your period. You're going to have a heavier flow at certain times of the day. You're going to have a heavier flow when you're breastfeeding, when you stand up, things like that. When you're breastfeeding, your uterus is contracting, so that's going to make you bleed more. You're going to want an option of pads to use throughout the day, especially as you start to bleed less and less. You don't want to be walking around wearing a giant pad. So these thinner ones are nice to have on hand too, and God knows you're not going to want to get out of the house and go buy pads or make your husband go buy pads for you. So try to stock up on these before you have your baby if you're able to. Another thing I always had on hand after I had my baby was some Motrin, and the hospital did give me a prescription for Motrin at a higher dosage, and I never went and picked it up. I just used a bottle of Motrin that I had at home, and the reason you want to use Motrin is because it'll help relieve some of your pain, it'll help with some of your cramping, and it's also safe for breastfeeding. So one of the last things that I'm going to recommend is this giant bottle of Purell hand sanitizer, and this is the natural one. This is plant-based alcohol, so it was a little friendlier for using with my baby. But every time I would use the bathroom or when I had people over, I would always just have it handy so people could use that before they touch my baby. I'm a first-time mom, super paranoid about germs or my baby getting sick or something like that. So it was nice to have that hand sanitizer out in the open and very easy access to use. So yeah, definitely make sure you get some of that hand sanitizer and you will not regret that. Anyways, that's all I have for my recommendations for any of you postpartum moms. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope some of this was helpful to you. If you guys have any questions, please comment down below. Also, good luck to any moms who are about to give birth to their baby and are watching this because you are trying to prepare. Please like this video if it's something you enjoyed, and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you all so much for watching.